We don't talk that much about self-defense around here. Mostly because, well, I try to leave the self-defense to the experts, people who actually do know what they're talking about. But even so, I think we can violate that rule, and I can offer two little bits of advice on self-defense. It might even save your life. One comes however unwillingly, via a website called Active Self-Defense or something like that. Anyway, one of our viewers went over there the other day and he said, "Hey, have you seen that guy Colin Flaherty's website? What do you think of that? What do you think of the YouTube channel? What do you think of his videos? What do you think of this?" The guy came back and he said, "If you watch Colin Flaherty's videos, I don't want you on my site watching my videos." So, the first lesson of self-defense is, don't go around picking fights with people you don't know, because you might be biting off more than you can chew, fat boy. And second lesson comes via the great Willie Shields, Marine veteran. And I've known Willie all my life. Willie was the toughest guy in this little town for many miles around, and everybody knew it. Anyway, Willie reminds me of this from time to time, a scene from the movie Officer and a Gentleman. Lou Gossett is in some kind of training situation. What was he, a sergeant? Drill sergeant? And he was choking one of the cadets or the officers in training. And while he's choking him, he's explaining to him, he's saying, "Listen, the only thing you're depending on right now, you're betting on my unwillingness to actually kill you. Because when you're in combat, that's a bad idea." Well, we're going to see three videos here. Two videos where people just didn't pay any attention to that rule. They kind of left their personal safety, they left their lives up to the kindness of strangers, black strangers that have a lot of hostility and hatred towards them, especially to the extent that they thought they're an easy target. And they might have some money lying around or some drugs lying around. Then we're going to meet one other person who decided they're going to follow Lou Gossett's advice. And when somebody comes at them with ill intent, they're not going to take a chance that the person will have pity on them if they succumb.
We begin with the hunt for the suspected killers of an elderly woman. She was slain inside her home in the Anderson Island neighborhood.
Last night, 82-year-old Kathleen Cates was found stabbed to death. Here's a picture her family shared with us. Police are now searching for the suspects. Our Jasmine Crechin is standing by live near the home with the very latest information. Jasmine, I understand police just released the names of the suspects.
Yes, Sean and Jerry, police do have arrest warrants for a man and a woman. Take a look at these pictures that police just sent us. They're looking for Roy Narcisse and Kiana Williams, both 25, accusing them of murdering 82-year-old Kathleen Cates. Both suspects have known addresses and associates in Central and South Louisiana. Now, of course, the murder did happen at this home behind me. This is Cates' home. This is the second homicide in less than 2 weeks on this street. Police do not believe the two are connected. A fatal shooting happened back on September 15th. Shawn'Sale Bradford died after he and another man were shot outside a house in the 1100 block of East Washington. And last night, 82-year-old Kathleen Cates was found stabbed to death inside her home in the 800 block. Shreveport Police Corporal Marcus Hines tells me Cates' body was found around 8 last night. He says she was stabbed several times all over her body with a sharp object. The suspects also stole Cates' car from under her driveway. One family friend, Jan Williams, says she's shocked to hear this happened. Williams is a part of a neighborhood Facebook page that's dedicated to bringing the community together to stop crime in the area. She feels people need to pay closer attention to what is happening and take all precautions.
Get out and meet your neighbors. Know who belongs on your street and who doesn't. So when there is an incident and the police come and say, "Did you see anything?" You can say, "Well, I saw a car I don't think belonged on our street." Or you could call that in as a suspicious vehicle. But if you don't know your neighbors, how are you going to know what a suspicious person is or a suspicious?
People in the quiet Rushmere section of the county can rest a bit easier tonight now that 2 murder suspects are locked up.
Kareem Mitchell and Richard Holmes face some big charges in the killings of 80-year-old Nancy Starnes and her son Kenneth, which shocked the neighborhood. And tonight, we are learning new details in what police found during the past 6 days investigating that deadly break-in on Ellisdale Drive. 10 on your side's Andy Fox has been following this story all week and has new information in this case. Andy.
Tom and Anita, 1 week ago tomorrow morning, murder paid a visit to this county. The county sheriff talks about how mean and violent this crime was by the number of times the victims were shot. The suspects lived here and were taken into custody Wednesday. They lived 1 mile from the victims they're accused of killing, Kenneth Starnes and his 80-year-old mother, Nancy. Before his arraignment, 19-year-old Richard Holmes seemed to care more about his breath than the murder charge he faces. Can you tell us what the motive was?
Can you smell my breath? It stinks right now. Back up a little bit.
Also charged with murder, 29-year-old Kareem Mitchell. He's seemed more moved by the gravity of the situation. I see a tear in your eye.
A few tears in my eyes, Andy. Regret this for the rest of my life.
Before the arraignments, Sheriff Mark Marshall began his news conference with this.
I'm pleased to report we got him.
Sheriff Marshall says when Mitchell and Holmes were arrested at their house, a stolen car from Hampton was in the driveway.
We've had multiple interviews with these individuals, and we have at least one who has admitted his involvement as the shooter.
Sheriff Marshall says they still aren't sure if the victims knew the suspects, but they broke down the Starnes locked door with the intent to kill.
We did recover a number of the items that were stolen from our victims on Friday nights.
Gene Jones has lived next door to Kareem Mitchell for many years. So when you hear that he's been charged with murder of 2 people.
I'm utterly shocked. I've been knowing him as a little boy.
Is there anything you want to say to the family?
I'm terribly sorry.
Terribly sorry, he says. The sheriff says that what happened here is unspeakable and heinous.
Okay, now let's check out this story. And this story is like, they left out so much of this story. It's just amazing. But even in the form it's in, it's still weird. So let's just watch it. And then on the other end, I'll tell you what really happened.
Just want the right thing to be done, and I know this is wrong. You know, I'm not a judge, but 2 + 2 is 4, and this is not adding up.
A man accused of stealing bras from a Knightdale Walmart ended up getting shot inside a nearby business. Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens.
I'm Linda Loveland. That man is still in the hospital tonight, and his family wants answers about why a woman pulled the trigger. WRAL's Candace Sweat is live outside Wake Med after hearing from DeAndre Branch's stepfather. Candace?
Linda, it's not every day that we actually hear from the family of the accused wanting to speak out and tell their side of the story. But DeAndre Branch's stepdad says that something simply does not add up. And in spite of what his stepson did, he says he doesn't deserve to be in the hospital.
We're looking at a misdemeanor and larceny and whatnot to my son's fighting for his life.
Willie Michener says his stepson, DeAndre Branch, wasn't looking to hurt anyone. He was looking to hide.
The more I learned about the whole situation, the madder I got.
Which is why he says he doesn't understand why Branch, the father of a 4-year-old and 2-year-old, is now in the hospital hoping to walk again.
But he is starting to regain a lot of his own body strength, if you will.
He says he and his wife were just minutes away from the scene when they got the call.
We were actually in Bible study that Monday night, and to us not even knowing, it was less than 5 minutes from where we was at.
Knightdale police say Branch fled from a Walmart on foot after stealing several bras. While trying to escape authorities, he ran inside this building on Knightdale Boulevard. Police say he encountered Connie Wells, who has a license to carry, and happened to be armed. They say there was an exchange of some sort, and she shot him.
2 + 2 is 4, and this is not adding up.
Michener says he's not buying that there was an encounter close enough to justify self-defense.
You're holding a firearm, so where's the danger at when you don't see a weapon on him, so you feel like you would have the upper hand anyway.
He says Branch is typically non-confrontational, and he ultimately wants Wells held accountable for the shooting.
So his life has been dramatically altered when she still has the choice to do whatever she want to do.
So what really happened is, yeah, the guy went into Walmart and he stole some women's underwear. Okay, you know, well, that is what it is. But then then what the people on TV don't make clear is that he went into a local nearby office building. He broke into it. This wasn't one of these like locksmiths, you know, deals where they show on TV, you put a little lock here, you put a little pick here, a little pick there, twist it, turn it, boom, you're in. No, no, no. This was one of these barge it down, let me in, invade the space with full violence, full intentions of violence. He ran into a 54-year-old woman there who asked him to stop, told him to get the hell out of there, told him to quit advancing towards her, all of which he declined to do. So rather than depend on his kind intentions, rather than depend on the kind intentions of this dude's stepfather, who said, oh, that dude would never hurt anybody, he was a good boy. Well, except for that long record of violent behavior that he has. Oh yeah, just the ones he got caught doing. So she shot him. He's alive. A stepfather ought to be happy for that. Instead, he's sitting there. I think, you know, they're just playing the lottery. They're playing the ghetto lottery, hoping that, you know, somebody somewhere, some lawyer somewhere is going to look and see what happened and say, oh yeah, that lady has an insurance policy, so we'll go after her because, you know, she shot you for no reason whatsoever, and, you know, breaking in, threatening her life is really, that's not really much of a reason to defend yourself, is it? Guess they never watched that old Robert Blake show, Beretta. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. That's probably decent advice for not making the black kids angry.